Hello everyone, welcome you all for Begin Danny YouTube channel. Introduce this channel to your friends and also share this video with everyone. Do click bell button so that you will get the notification about the future videos. Let's go to the lesson. Once again, I extend my sincere welcome to you for the social science lesson. This lesson is prepared based on the Maharashtra State Board. This video can be used for effective teaching, for effective revision, for effective testing and retesting, and also for self-learning. I hope you will be benefited with this video. Let's learn ninth lesson of standard 10th. The topic is tourism, transport and communication. What is tourism? Tourism is travel for pleasure. It is mentioned for relaxation, to remove our stress, go away from regular routine work, you will get enjoyment. To enjoy, you may go or you may visit, that is called tourism. First, let us study about tourism in Brazil. Tourism is very important in Brazil, and this Brazil attracts many tourists from national and international level. Why? Because of various reasons. Here comes the reasons for well developed tourism in Brazil. Clean, white sand beaches attract many people. People come here to Brazil to see the clean and white sand beaches. Next, Brazil has attractive sea coast to see, to observe, to witness the mesmerizing sea coast. People they visit Brazil. Beautiful islands. The island attracts many people from within the country and from outside of the country. And the orchards of Brazil that also attract tourists from various places. These are the four basic reasons for tourists to visit Brazil. Not only that, the deep and dense forests, especially the Amazon basin equatorial rainforest, it attracts many tourists. Already we have studied in the previous lessons. Brazil is the land of different species. To see the different species of birds and animals, people from various places visit Brazil. New capital city of Brazil is Brasilia. Brasilia is the capital of Brazil. And this Brasilia attracts many tourists. Like that, there are some other cities like Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. That cities also attract tourists in large numbers. Tourism is an important activity in several regions of Brazil. Sensitivity of natural resources kept in the mind. The people wanted to conserve the nature. Because of that, nowadays, recent days, ecotourism is developing at a faster rate. Ecotourism means without disturbing the surrounding or nature, without making any changes. Tourism is being developed. That is called ecotourism. Let's study about tourism in India. The number of international tourists visiting India in 2015 was more than Brazil. You can see the graph at the bottom. The graph shows the comparison between the tourists visited India and Brazil. You can see the tremendous increase in tourists visited India. In India, the share of tourism in gross domestic product is less than that of Brazil. If you compare with Brazil GDP, Indian GDP is less than Brazil. Why India is having less GDP than Brazil? Actually, the GDP of India, gross domestic product of India, is really higher than Brazil, but appears like less one or less percentage because of the high engaged population. That means the higher ratio or percentage of people are engaged in tourism. That is why it appears less in India. What are the different types of tourism? If you take India, the heritage of India attracts many tourists. The physical features, the mountains and the hills, that attracts tourists. Many people they come to India for the adventure purpose. Some group of people, they come to India, they visit India to see the culture, and some group of people, they come to India for business purpose. So these are the different sectors, fields that attracts tourists to India. Ecotourism is being given a big boost to our country because we have different physical divisions, we have different climatical conditions, the nature varies from place to place. All these pay to the development of ecotourism. Heritage. India is a land of heritage. Plenty of opportunity for tourism in many parts and many places developed because of the heritage of India. We have our own heritage. So people, they wanted to see the unique heritage of India by visiting India. The second one is transport. First, we learnt about tourism in Brazil and India. Now we are going to learn about transport system in Brazil and in India. Let's study about the transport system in Brazil. The most common method of transport is the roadways in Brazil. That means roadways are very common. More than half transport is roadways. The density of road is high in eastern part, or you can say in the eastern part of Brazil, the road density is high. In the Amazon river basins, swampy lands, that is Pantanal, in these areas, limited development of roadways. Roadways are not developed very well in Amazon river basin and swampy lands of Brazil. Waterways. Waterways is another mode of transport used in Brazil. The Amazon river basin, the Amazon river is used for water transport on commercial basis. That means most of the Amazon river is used for navigation purpose, and here the goods are being transported to various places on commercial basis. Boats flow from Iquitos in Peru to the mouth of river Amazon. If you take this river Amazon, longest waterway navigated through this that is nearly 3,700 kilometer long river water is used for transportation. Another important river that is used for water transport is located in the southern part and it is flowing towards south, that is river Parana. So in across the river or in river Amazon and in river Parana, water transport is taking place. Coastal regions of Brazil. We have the coast in the northern side and in the eastern side, North Atlantic Ocean and South Atlantic Ocean. These coastal lines is used for shipping activity. Huge quantities of cargoes are being transported through this coastal line. So shipping is very common in coastal areas. The railway lines in Brazil. Railways are not developed very well in Brazil like roadways and waterways. Use of trains for long distance transport of passengers is restricted to a few urban tourist routes even though it is cheaper. The railways are cheaper but it is restricted to few urban routes. Airways of Brazil. Contribution of airways is less in transport system of Brazil because of inaccessible regions like Amazon river basin, then the highlands, most of the part is occupied by Guyana highland and Brazilian highland. So these are the hindrance for air transport development in Brazil. Now let's learn about transport in India. How the transport system is there in India. If you take India, India has a dense network of transport. 85 percentage of passengers and 70 percentage of freights by roads. That means 85 percentage human being, 70 percentage goods are being transported by roadways. Freight and passenger transport facilities due to development of railways also. In India, we have a huge network of or a large network of railways also. So how the roadways are helpful in transporting goods and passenger, in the same way railways in India are very much important for transporting freight and passengers. Especially this is for the long distance traveling. You can observe this map. In this map, the important national highways, major ports are given, the dense network of road lines that are given in this map. It shows very clearly we have a good or a dense network of transport system. Railways in India. The railways in India is very important for the growth of Indian economy. Railway network is less dense in hilly states, northeastern states, central parts and Rajasthan. Hilly regions, northeastern states and the peninsula region, central part and the desert region. In these areas, the dense network of railways is less. So, railways are not much developed in these areas. The railway network is very dense in North Indian plains because it is the low lying flat region, is the plain region, so it is very good for construction of railway lines. Railways are very important for a vast country where distances are large. If you take India is a vast country, so there must be a development of railways so that larger distance can be covered very easily with this railway system. Because of these railways, the cost will be reducing. Waterways. Already we have learnt in the previous chapters, India has a long coastal line, more than 7,500 kilometer length of coast we have. Not only that, we have many rivers. So these rivers, dams and the coastal areas helpful for water transport. If you take water transport, it is the cheapest means of transport because there is no cost in laying roads. That means no need to lay any roads. Second one, no maintenance cost is there in the waterways. That is why it is cheap. 1% of the country's transport is being done through this water transport. The water transport is taken place in the fresh waters like rivers, canals, backwaters, creeks, etc. 95% of the foreign trade moves through ocean. Our Indian coast is a very important coast that Indian Ocean plays a very important route for international trade. Apart from international trade used for transportation between islands of rest of the country. Okay, it is not only used for trade purpose, even the people and the goods move from one island to another island through these waterways. The best example is Kerala state. backwater plays a very important role in transporting people and goods. Airways. Compared to Brazil, it is more developed in India. India has a dense network of airways. Use of international airways is also increasing. It is the fastest means of transport or modes of transport, and it is costly also compared to the other means of transport. The next one is communication. We have learned two concepts. One, the transport, the another one, tourism. Third concept we are going to study, learn is communication. We are going to study about the third concept, communication, now. Brazil has a vast longitudinal extent. Please look at the map given on the screen. The longitudinal extent is from 34 degree 45 minutes west in the eastern side to 73 degree 48 minutes west longitudinal line. Fully it is located in the western region. If you take 39 longitudinal lines are passing through Brazil, such a long and a vast longitudinal extent the Brazil has. Because of the vast longitudinal extent, keeping one line or one time as a common time or a standard time of Brazil will be a difficult one. So, Brazil has 4 different time zones. If you take that time, it is calculated based on Greenwich meridian time or 0 degree prime meridian time. And if you observe the time in Brazil, all the 4 time zones are behind the Greenwich meridian time. That means GMT. One time zone that is given in the easternmost part of the country is 2 hours behind GMT. The next one, it is 3 hours behind the GMT, and the next one 4 hours, and the last one 5 hours. So like that 4 different time zones are given, and GMT3, that is time zone of Brazilian official time, that is BRT. How we have our own standard time, in the same way Brazilian time BRT is based on the second one, that is 3 hours behind Greenwich meridian time. You can observe the zigzag line that is given in pink color on the map is the BRT, Brazilian time. Telecommunication. is well developed in Brazil and is efficient also, working in a fantastic manner. Landline, mobiles, televisions, radio, computers, all are included in the telecommunication because of satellites. All these communications are increasing in a large quantity. We may sit at home and watching television. So these television broadcasts, listening to the news, radio broadcasts, and computers, all these are all possible because of the satellites. 45% of population is accessed to internet in Brazil. So telecommunication is also well developed in Brazil. If you take the telecommunication system, it is fairly modern in central part and in the southern part. That means good usage of telecommunication in central and southern part. If you go to the western part and the northern part, it is drastically undeveloped because this north area and the northwestern area, due to the Amazon equatorial rainy forest, it is inaccessible region, not suitable for the settlement, unhealthy climatical condition, poor transport link. So the development is not there in that regions. That is why it is undeveloped in north and western part of Brazil. In recent years, there is a rapid expansion of mobiles and telephones in Brazil. Even in that areas, nowadays due to improvement in technologies, these mobiles and telephones are using in large number in that areas also. That means you can see the expansion of mobile towers and the telephone towers communication system is expanding towards the north and the western side also in recent days. Mass land size, large pockets of unpopulated area, dense vegetation leads to significant impediments to expansion in coverage of telecommunication services in the north and western part. What are the drawbacks or what are the factors responsible for hindrance for the expansion of telecommunication? One, mass land size. That means big land size. Second one, large pocket of unpopulated area. That means dense forest region leads to these impediments. Developing technology to send domestically made satellites into space with its own rockets is another important feature of Brazil. Brazil is sending rockets, homemade rockets, in that they are sending satellites that is also made in their country. So that leads to development of technology. Because of that, communication develops a lot in Brazil. What about the communication in India? India has a large longitudinal extent. If you observe the westernmost and the easternmost tip of India, two extreme points, the time difference between the easternmost and the westernmost point is 2 hours, that is 120 minutes. India has one standard time, that is going through or passing through the middle of our country, 82 degree 30 minutes east or 82.5 degree east longitudinal line, that is passing through Allahabad, is taken as or fixed as the standard time of India, IST. So Indian standard time is fixed based on 82 degree 30 minutes east longitudinal line. You can see in this map the extent of our country, India, north, south, east, west extent. So the west and east extent fix that time slot. So the difference between the northern, easternmost and westernmost longitudinal line is 2 hours. That means 120 minutes. So we have only one standard time in India. This standard time is passing through Allahabad. If you take the Indian standard time IST, it is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich Meridian time. So if you take India, India is located in the eastern hemisphere. When you are traveling towards the east, you have to add 4 minutes when you are crossing one longitudinal line. So we are 5 hour 30 minutes ahead of Greenwich Meridian time. Whereas the Brazil, they are behind the Greenwich Meridian time. So you have to keep it in your mind. Indian Standard Time is ahead of Greenwich Meridian time and the Brazilian Standard Time is behind of Greenwich Meridian time. Explosion of electronic media, telecom, fast growing sectors in India. You can see most of the people in India are having mobile phones in them. More digitally enhanced devices like mobile phones, internet, satellites prove the way of expansion that is taking place in India in the communication field. If you take India, one of the largest users of smartphones and internet in the world. India is producing its own satellites and rockets. Development of our own satellite. India has come a long way in this field. One of the leading countries in the world in the field of space science. I hope you have learnt thoroughly. Kindly subscribe Begin Danny YouTube channel, share with your friends, introduce to your friends, and don't forget to click the bell button for future videos. Thank you for watching this video. Let us meet in another new lesson.